I've been doing YouTube now for 4 months, and one of my intentions was to have my audience not have to worry about what's true or what isn't true on the channel by being completely upfront about what has worked for me and what hasn't. Mistakes will probably be made and expectations won't be hit all the time, but I'll at least be open and honest when it happens, just like when doing 30 days of meditation didn't work quite as well as I expected. At work, I have a good relationship with my boss, and while I was there a few weeks ago, we were talking and he called me out for my "how rushing is ruining your productivity" video. It's where I speak about maintaining a good pace in every aspect of your life by being proactive and not rushing at the last second for things that could have been prepared for. The reason he called me out is over the past few months, I've gone from being early for work to being more and more late. And my response to this was, no one seems to care about me showing up on time, so it makes it easy to take my time in the morning. But that felt like a complete excuse, so I went home and thought about it. That night, I decided to change things because I want to make sure that when you guys are watching a video of mine, you know that I'm pushing to continually follow through on my own advice. I remember back when I first started working this job. I was dedicated to waking up early, packing my lunch the night before, working out, eating a healthy breakfast, and then arriving 10 minutes before my shift. I started getting really tired because I was doing YouTube as well as work full time, and I started adding alarms so that I didn't miss my first alarm, but that was no good because I began to rely on the first alarm and wouldn't have enough time to get everything ready. As the days went on, my motivation for something slipped. First, it was my lunches that were not being made the night before. Then I would stop working out so much in the morning, and I also stopped making healthy breakfasts and just ended up going for cereal. And while this happened, I went from being early to on time to being late a minute here and there, then getting used to being late 5 or 10 minutes. The psychological force pushing me to stay on track in the morning went away, and I didn't feel worried about taking a bit of extra time to check out social media or spend more time in the shower. After having this discussion with my boss, I wanted to prove to myself that I could get back on track, so I got home and I changed all of my alarms to 15 minutes earlier than before. One thing I had to focus on was not getting too wrapped up on a task when I have other things to do, and this is really hard for me to do because I become really obsessed with finishing what I start. During a couple mornings, I would have something I was finishing, and once I got past it, I found arriving early was easier. This all started a few weeks ago, and I have successfully been on time for work ever since. I also found I had developed a bad habit of spending a couple extra minutes here and there staying in bed or looking at social media. When I finally focused on leaving at the right time each morning and planned things ahead, things fell into place. Being late once or twice every now and then isn't nearly as much of an issue as making it into a habit. It's also quite hard to switch back to being early when you get used to being late, especially if there isn't a punishment dealt for being late or another incentive to push you in the right direction. But it's still doable, and it involves good planning and consistent execution. I'm also thankful that my boss ended up talking to me about this because if he didn't mention this, I might have just kept on being late and not getting myself back on track. Sometimes it can be a really productive thing for someone to call you out on something, even though it can be uncomfortable to hear. So, to summarize, a big part of maintaining a good habit is anticipating what could be a threat to its longevity and strategizing around that. I want to make videos to improve others' lives, and it is my intention to always practice what I preach and getting back on track when things start to slip. It's alright to make mistakes, but make sure to learn from them and take action to overcome or prevent them. There's many more videos that I want to be making about things that hopefully can improve your life, and I don't want to do it without first knowing that thing has worked for me and that I'm practicing what I'm preaching when I'm talking about it. And my final point, I personally watch a lot of self-improvement channels, and the one thing that causes me to get value from a video is when I can trust the advice from the person it is coming from someone who actually walks the walk. So I want to work to be that for my audience. Anyways, that's the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I know it's a little bit of a different video, but I wanted to put it out there. If you liked it, give it a like. If you really liked this video and you want to see more content like this, but also stuff that's a lot different than this on self-improvement and skill development and stuff like that, then subscribe down below. Take care for now, and stay practical.
Yeah, your heart is a sun, and it shines as it opens.
Well, your heart is a sun, and it shines